Long before concrete jungles and megacities, the Sumerians laid the foundation of urban life. Nestled between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, they built cities like Uruk and Eridu, true centers of innovation, not just clusters of huts. They developed the world's first written language, known as cuneiform, using reeds to press symbols into wet clay. They invented the wheel, mapped constellations, and created the earliest forms of government. These weren't just farmers and builders. They were thinkers, planners, and pioneers. Their temples, called ziggurats, weren't just for worship. They symbolized human ambition reaching toward the heavens. Every trade, every law, every record was inscribed, preserved, and passed on. The Sumerians didn't just live in the cradle of civilization. They rocked it to life. From humble bricks and reeds came a civilization that taught the world what it meant to be organized, literate, and powerful. In the shadows of the Sumerians, a new force emerged, Babylon. Under King Hammurabi, Babylon became a powerhouse of law, learning, and architecture. The Code of Hammurabi was more than a list of rules. It was a bold statement that justice should govern society. With an eye for an eye, the Babylonians set standards in fairness and accountability. But they weren't just lawmakers, they were stargazers and timekeepers. Babylonian scholars divided hours into 60 minutes and tracked the heavens with mathematical precision. Their capital was a marvel, protected by massive walls and crowned with a majestic Ishtar gate. Babylon was order, strength, and sophistication. Every tablet carved, every calculation made, brought humanity a step closer to understanding the world. This was the heart of Mesopotamia, where the pulse of civilization beat stronger than ever before. Where the river flowed, greatness followed. Along the life-giving Nile, ancient Egypt rose as a beacon of stability, science, and spiritual power. For thousands of years, pharaohs ruled not just with armies, but with the divine authority of living gods. They organized one of history's longest-lasting civilizations, building colossal pyramids aligned with the stars and tombs filled with treasures for the afterlife. Egyptian scribes developed hieroglyphics, enabling a deep culture of record-keeping, religion, and science. They pioneered medicine, architecture, and agriculture. The annual flooding of the Nile didn't bring chaos, it brought prosperity. Egypt's strength wasn't just in its monuments, but in its balance between life and death, gods and people, desert and water. While others rose and fell, Egypt endured. It stood as a pillar of the ancient Arab world, echoing far beyond the desert sands. Along the rocky shores of today's Lebanon, a seafaring civilization quietly shaped the future. These were the Phoenicians. They didn't conquer with swords, but with ships. Their galleys sliced across the Mediterranean, bringing trade goods and culture to distant lands. From the invention of purple dye to the founding of Carthage, the Phoenicians left their mark not in monuments, but in ideas. Their greatest gift to humanity? The alphabet, a simple system of 22 letters that could be written, read, and taught. This became the root of modern scripts, Arabic, Greek, Latin, and more. They spread language, literacy, and commerce like no empire ever had. The Phoenicians were connectors, linking people, places, and thoughts. In every book, every sign, every word we write today, their legacy lives on. While empires flourished in cities and along rivers, a different kind of civilization thrived in the vast Arabian deserts. Nomadic tribes moved with the wind, guided by stars and survival. They lived where others wouldn't dare, crossing dunes, tending flocks, and guarding trade routes that connected Africa, Asia, and the Mediterranean. These early tribes spoke dialects that would eventually become Arabic. They passed down epic poetry, tribal laws, and oral traditions that preserved history through memory. Though they built no pyramids or ziggurats, they built something just as enduring: identity, resilience, and unity. The desert shaped them, tested them, and prepared them. These were the roots of the Arab people, forged not in stone, but in struggle. And in time, their spirit would shape an empire. What made the ancient Arab world extraordinary wasn't just invention, it was connection. These early civilizations weren't isolated. They traded ideas and goods across continents. Mesopotamian tablets reached Egypt. Phoenician merchants met Babylonian scholars. Indian spices traveled through Arabian deserts, while African gold found its way to Mediterranean ports. This region became the crossroads of civilization, a place where astronomy met architecture, where mathematics met mythology. Cultures blended, knowledge spread, and innovation accelerated. It wasn't just about who ruled, it was about who shared. These exchanges planted the seeds of what would become the Islamic Golden Age. But before that age could rise, the soil was fertilized by centuries of cooperation, competition, and curiosity. This wasn't just a region, it was the beating heart of the ancient world. Everything we know today owes something to the Arab world's ancient past. The alphabet we use, the laws we follow, the cities we live in, all trace back to these first great civilizations. They weren't just inventors or builders. They were storytellers, astronomers, artists, and philosophers. Their innovations didn't vanish. They were passed on, reimagined, and revived. The pyramids still stand. The ruins of Babylon still whisper. And in every clock, every book, every city skyline, we feel their touch. The cradle of civilization was not just the beginning of history. It was the ignition of human potential. And that story began right here in the heart of the ancient Arab world. History isn't just about the past. It's the story of who we are. If this journey through the ancient Arab world inspired you, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Join us as we uncover more untold stories from the sands of time. Which ancient civilization do you want to explore next? Drop it in the comments below.